Understanding female arousal beyond touch. Many men operate under the misconception that physical touch, compliments, or overt flirtation are the primary ways to ignite female desire. While these can certainly play a role, they are often surface-level tactics. The more profound and lasting arousal stems from psychological and emotional dynamics, how you influence her internal state, how you create a sense of tension, mystery, and challenge. Why psychological triggers matter more than physical contact. Women's nervous systems are wired for complex emotional stimuli. Evolutionarily, they seek cues of confidence, dominance, and unpredictability, not safety and predictability. This doesn't mean being aggressive or disrespectful, but rather embodying a calm, self-assured presence that subtly disrupts her expectations. Key principles. Explaining the power of psychological manipulation. 1. Observe her reactions instead of chasing them. Many men fall into the trap of constantly trying to elicit a reaction or impress her through direct effort, compliments, teasing, or over-enthusiasm. This approach often shifts the power dynamic, making her feel like she's the one in control of the interaction, which diminishes her attraction. Instead, become a silent evaluator. Focus on observing her subtle cues, how she responds to your presence, her body language, facial expressions, and tone. By doing so, you project calm confidence and emotional mastery. When you silently watch, like a predator analyzing prey, you create a sense of mystery. She begins to interpret your silence as strength, independence, and a kind of emotional beyond that she's eager to explore. This reversal, from chasing to observing, flips the entire dynamic. You're not trying to impress her, you're enjoying the interaction as an observer. This makes her feel like she's performing for you, which is deeply erotic because it triggers her desire to impress and connect at a subconscious level. 2. Let her sexualize you first. Most men make the mistake of openly initiating sexual escalation, touching, flirting, or making explicit comments early in the interaction. While this can sometimes work, it often leads to an immediate shift in power, where the man becomes the one pushing the sexual envelope. Advanced men understand the power of patience and subtlety. They create opportunities for her to project her desire onto the situation. This could be through giving her space to comment on your appearance or behavior, or by making a mysterious remark that hints at attraction without fully revealing intent. When she says something like, "You're trouble," or "Why are you looking at me like that?" she's already begun the process of sexualizing the interaction. She's taking the lead, and her subconscious is engaging in the desire-building process. The key is to hold your frame, give her room to interpret your actions as flirtatious, and avoid rushing to physical or verbal escalation. This method leverages her internal desire to feel in control of her attraction, making her more emotionally invested and aroused. 3. Speak slowly and make her wait. Speech tempo is a powerful nonverbal cue for dominance. Men who speak rapidly often signal insecurity or eagerness, which diminishes their perceived power. Conversely, deliberate, slow speech communicates confidence, calmness, and control. When you speak slowly, lower your tone, or pause mid-sentence, it creates a tension that she subconsciously finds irresistible. Her brain perceives this controlled pacing as a sign that you're not desperate or needy. Instead, you're composed and self-assured. Deliberate delays in your responses engage her attention. They activate a reward-seeking loop in her brain, similar to a game where anticipation heightens pleasure. This controlled pacing draws her in, makes her lean forward, and heightens her arousal because she's eager to resolve the tension you're intentionally creating. The core idea is that controlling the rhythm of communication rather than rushing into conversation amplifies her desire more than any physical touch could. 4. Break eye contact on purpose. Eye contact is a well-known tool for building intimacy, but the most psychologically powerful move involves intentionally breaking eye contact at the peak of emotional tension. When you lock eyes with her, you build a silent, intense connection. But when you look away, especially during moments of high emotional heat, it signals independence and emotional resilience. Imagine holding her gaze, creating a shared moment of vulnerability, then breaking eye contact smoothly and effortlessly. This acts as a psychological push-pull. She feels the pull of your gaze and the subsequent absence of it. The shift creates a feeling of emotional abandonment mixed with intrigue, prompting her to chase the connection. This dynamic taps into her subconscious desire for a man who is emotionally unshakable, someone who isn't needy or overly eager. The mystery of your fleeting eye contact compels her to seek out your attention again, deepening her attraction and arousal. 5. Remain unreactive to her baiting. Women often test boundaries or attempt to provoke reactions through teasing, sarcasm, or playful jabs. These are subconscious ways of gauging your emotional strength and dominance. When you respond emotionally, laughing, teasing back, or reacting defensively, you give her control over the interaction and diminish your perceived strength. Instead, maintain an emotionally flat, unshakable demeanor. Let her jabs go unanswered or be met with calm indifference. This signals that you're emotionally secure and not easily thrown off balance. Women find this unshakable presence extremely attractive because it embodies power and confidence. The perceived danger of your calmness and emotional independence sparks a primal attraction. She perceives you as a man who's dangerous and in control, not someone she can easily manipulate. 6. Implication and withhold. Women are naturally drawn to mystery and the unknown. When you hint at something provocative, like an explicit thought or desire, and then deliberately withhold, you create a mental loop of anticipation. For example, you might say, "I'm thinking about doing something, but I'll keep that to myself," with a teasing smile, then change the subject. Her mind fills in the gaps, imagining what you might have meant. This mental looping increases her arousal because it keeps her engaged and eager for resolution. This technique is about controlling the narrative. You don't give her immediate gratification. Instead, you keep her guessing, which amplifies her internal desire and makes her more receptive to escalation later. 7. Hold tension without release. Most men rush to escalate or resolve tension, either by touching her or shifting the mood. But women's arousal is often rooted in anticipation and build-up rather than immediate action. By deliberately pausing, staring into her eyes, maintaining silence, or lingering with a subtle smile, you create an unresolved energy. Her body and mind fill in the blanks, imagining what's coming next. This sustained tension taps into her evolutionary wiring, where prolonged anticipation heightens arousal more than immediate gratification. The key is to be patient and confident, allowing the energy to simmer rather than boiling over too quickly. When you master this, she begins to associate your presence with a magnetic pull, craving the eventual release of that tension. 8. Dominate space without touching her. Physical invasiveness can be subconscious or overt. Standing too close, adjusting her posture, or speaking behind her shoulder may seem innocent, but can easily be perceived as invasive or controlling. Instead, embody a confident presence. Stand upright with relaxed certainty, occupy space with your body and move deliberately. When your body language signals, "I'm already allowed here," it communicates dominance without physical contact, which is much more powerful. This presence makes her feel safe, yet intrigued. It's about leading without asking permission, which triggers her subconscious desire to follow and surrender to your lead. It's an energetic form of dominance that's more alluring than any physical touch. 9. Delay escalation until she aches for it. Women's arousal often builds through tension and longing. When you hold back physical contact, lean in slightly, or create moments of anticipation, her brain perceives this as a reward that's worth waiting for. For example, leaning in as if to kiss, then pulling back, or maintaining eye contact with a slight smile. These actions create a denied reward. Her brain becomes conditioned to associate this tension with future pleasure, deepening her attraction. This tension-based conditioning is rooted in the evolutionary wiring that values anticipation more than immediate satisfaction. When mastered, it makes her crave your touch and desire the moment you finally act. 10. Embody restraint, not permission. Most men wait for clear signals before acting, waiting until she gives verbal or physical cues. But true confidence and power come from moving from a place of intent and control. Restraint is about embodying a sense of mastery over your impulses. You want her, but you don't act on every urge. Instead, you let the moment stretch, creating a dynamic where she subconsciously desires more because she perceives you as in control. This isn't manipulation, it's about demonstrating emotional strength and discipline. When she senses your restraint, she interprets it as a sign of a man who's powerful enough to wait, which makes her feel safe, yet deeply attracted. In summary, these strategies leverage the deep-seated psychological and emotional wiring of women. They are less about superficial tactics and more about embodying confidence, mystery, and emotional mastery, elements that activate her subconscious desire and turn her on profoundly. Mastering these triggers allows you to create magnetic attraction without relying solely on physical touch, which often serves as a superficial shortcut rather than a true catalyst for desire.